Colorism. By definition, it's a form of bias, prejudice, or discrimination against individuals with darker skin tones, typically among people of the same ethnic or racial group. Hello everyone, my name is Javier Nunez, and my video topic for today is on colorism and the basics around it. I chose this topic because of the recent activities concerning the Black Lives Matter protest and how that really opened my eyes to a lot of the issues concerning prejudice against darker skinned people, not only in the Latinx community but within my own family as well, which was very surprising. So I decided to interview 5 of the UB staff to tell me a bit about what they think about colorism and their experiences with it. So I hope you all enjoy and learn something from it. But before we begin with the staff interviews, I want to list some very common examples of colorism that we've all probably heard from our own families and friends. A lot of these are typically backhanded compliments or seen as looking out for someone, when in reality they're actually very offensive and used to discriminate against darker skinned individuals. So the first one we have, which is incredibly common that I've seen, is "you're so nice" or "you're so pretty" for a dark skinned person. Another one that we've all probably heard as a kid: "stay out of the sun or else you'll turn dark." And finally, assuming that all dark-skinned people are criminals or violent is also a very common form of implicit bias against darker-skinned individuals. Please introduce yourself with your name and cultural identity.
Hi, my name is Camille. My cultural background is my parents are from Belize.
Hi, my name is Ashley Lizarga. I am biracial. I have a Caucasian mother, and my father is West African from Ghana and Nigeria.
My name is Eric. I identify as a Mexican American. I'm first generation.
Hi, my name is Ruben. Cultural background, well, I'm Mexican American, and my parents were born here, so I'm second generation. My grandparents are from Mexico.
My name is Leonel Sanchez, and I am Mexican American.
Can you define colorism?
Okay, so colorism is something that has been instilled in cultural communities due to internal racism and racism just out in general community. I feel like
Colorism, in simplest terms, is the discrimination and prejudice towards darker skinned folks. I believe it exists within certain ethnic groups. The ways that we prefer lighter skinned people over darker skinned people.
Have you personally or someone you know been affected by colorism? If so, how?
I feel like I've been affected by colorism. I feel like colorism in the Black community is pretty prevalent. There's always this division between light-skinned or dark-skinned, and I see it a lot sometimes within students, and I think people don't know when it's actually happening because it's so common.
Yeah, I think it's never, I guess in my own experience, never been something very flat out, blatant. I think other people have, but I think my own experience is just, I know colorism exists, especially in the Latino community, so I think this just enables me to choose wisely who I surround myself with.
Well, at least my cousins, a lot of them are dark, and my grandma, she would always say "oh, you'd be a little bit more pretty if you're light skinned" and stuff like that. And
How has American media affected your perception of your own culture and skin color?
Okay. I feel like growing up with American media, it has instilled this ideal platform for beauty. It's always you can't be too dark. I feel like that's always something that you always hear. Go put on sunblock because you don't want to be too dark or something. And I feel like American media has continued to portray that within different shows, or whenever you see a Black family or a common show, Blackish, they're always mixed. It's not really often when you actually see a dark-skinned Black individual or playing on a role or on screen?
I think the issue of colorism, especially within media, I always saw lighter skinned black people, or I always saw like different shows or commercials that showed a white woman or a white man and a black like partner. It would always show that interracial dynamic, family dynamic, which then leads to dark-skinned black families in TV shows, which I think really played into my understanding at the ways that media, society in general, discriminate towards dark-skinned people, and they perpetuate that through these family values that they show in TV shows and stuff.
You look at like telenovelas, oftentimes they're individuals that are light-skinned, colored eyes, and it's only the servants that are the darker-skinned individuals. So I think seeing that, at a young age, makes you think, is my skin color ugly? But I guess as I've grown up, I've learned to accept it and really embrace, how I look. I think there's been efforts to have more representation in the media, but it's nowhere near where it should be. But I do think there's been some improvement.
Alright. Is there anything you wish you knew about this topic when you were younger? Advice to younger students.
That being you is okay, just because it's not portrayed in media or it's not something that you commonly see, it's okay to be you at the end of the day.
I think it's just, being true to yourself. I think the media is never an accurate representation. I feel like that's something that I wish I knew. While that might be what I see like on TV, it's not what's true about my life. People around me are my skin color, so it's not something that I'm gonna use as like, we should all look like this.
I would definitely say like to younger students who are on the lighter side of like the skin complexion to like kind of recognize like that if you have a certain amount of privilege and that like you should like speak on these issues, especially if you see it in your family, like you hear stuff, you should definitely call it out. Even though you might not experience it, like you kind of staying quiet and just like letting things slide, you're kind of part of the problem. And yeah, just not to be afraid to like speak up on stuff like that when you hear it, especially if it's your family.
Listening more to like my family and like learning about like my past, my family's past, and like being proud about that. I would say advice for like younger students would be, or for like younger people in general, would be like don't be afraid of having like difficult conversations with people in your family. Because I feel like that was something that took a long time in my own experience, like having these conversations about like why do we say certain things? Why do we believe that it is better? Like why do people think that it is better to be like lighter skin compared to like darker skin? Where is that coming from?
Not perpetuate racial stereotypes. In particular, like the fear that people have of black people, they're predators, they're criminals. We see this a lot portrayed in media, and the ways that we respond to that is by our automatic preference to lighter skinned people, aka colorism. So like really just pushing against those racial stereotypes and formulating your own thoughts on people, and not letting one interaction with one person of one racial or ethnic group determine your feelings towards the entire group. Because black people are not monolithic, Latinx people are not monolithic. There's a spectrum. Blackness, anti-blackness functions on a spectrum. If you're closer to whiteness, you have it way easier than someone who's dark. So really understand like your position in society and other folks' position in society. Because I obviously experience discrimination, but the discrimination that I face is not the same as my darker skin folks.
I would like to kindly thank the staff that was interviewed. You all helped me a lot with the making of this video. And for the rest of you all, I really hope you enjoyed the content and learned something from it. Well, that's all folks. So, bye!